Hello, and welcome back to College Disc Golf News with me, your host, Nick, and it's going to be breaking down three events for this weekend, three pretty significant ones. Glad to be back in action with some really fun things going on. So make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for all the news. We're going to be jumping into all of the events. Rust Belt Conference back in action. Once again, we've got the Carolinas Conference going for their second event this year. And we've also got the Great Lakes Conference going for their third conference event of the year. So a lot of cool things to talk about. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button for more content, more predictions. This week is super fun, but next week we've got regionals, so there'll be a whole regional video and breakdown. That's going to be super fun, so stay tuned for that. If you're interested in the content, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and go to the Instagram. I'm super excited to see all the love that you've been giving me, and very thankful for that. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into this weekend, which we're going to start out with the Rust Belt Conference in the Pittsburgh Invitational. So as you can see, this is Oak Hollow Park. It is a long and technical course. As you can't really tell from the video, the flyover. I think you did a Disc Golf Examiner for this, but you can't really tell. But the hills on this course are brutal. It's very slanted, especially on this front nine, and it kind of stays that way throughout the entire course. Now, the first nine holes are pretty open, but they're long, they're technical. You have to land at the right angles, and then you kind of get to the back nine, and while it shortens up a little bit, you've got the woods and the trees to kind of contend with. So this is a very difficult track, especially they're playing singles on it, and then they'll play a teams round. And so there's a lot to consider. A lot can go wrong. You can end up in the woods having to pitch out, and then you're already down some strokes trying to save your par. And so a lot can go wrong on this course. And so you kind of need that veteran experience. Those are going to keep you up and help you out. Especially having course knowledge on this course is very important. And so that is why for this weekend, I've got Slippery Rock taking it down. Now, they are a team that has been around the block a bit. They've been playing a while. I saw them last year. They were very good then. I think they are close enough. They've will be able to play the course enough to where they'll have that knowledge. They have those veterans. So I've got them at 10 down. Then I've got UPitt. I've got the University of Pittsburgh at 6 down. Of course, this is one of their home courses. And so I have them in the mix at 6 down. But again, this is such a tight and technical course. And without those guys that are really at the top of the 970, the 980 range, you're going to struggle because you got to be able to get birdies on this course. And there's just so much danger and trouble. For Slippery Rock, you want to be looking out for Sam Wilson. This guy's been playing for a while, 950 rated. I think watch for him to be able to really carry his team. On the pit side of things, I think Jacob Banny is going to do really good this weekend as well. So those are the kind of two guys to watch out for. But I think Slippery Rock, their team overall just has a better look to it and some experience there. So I've got them taking it down. Of course, then Pitt. Then I've got Bowling Green, another team that's kind of was at the top for a while, kind of in that top 40 team range. Having to do a little bit of reset. They're still working on it. So I've got them at 3 down. And then Mount Union is a newer team. None of them have PDGA ratings. I have no idea about them. But congrats to them. It's going to be a super fun weekend to see them out there. But I've got them at even. It's going to be a really tough school. Tough course for newer players, and so I got them even, but wouldn't be surprised if they went over. And then we've also got some ladies side of things that's super exciting. I mean, if you can't tell, this is going to be a super tough course for ladies, and I'm interested to see what happens. I don't have too much information on those ladies, but what I do know is that Pitts is bringing 2 ladies and Slippery Rock is only bringing 1, and so kind of my general idea is that two is better than 1, and so I've got the University of Pittsburgh ladies taking that down, and then Slippery Rock in second. Again, didn't know enough about them to do just singles predictions like I'll do in some other videos, but I've got them for their teams, and overall I've got Pitt winning, and then Slippery Rock in second.
Now we're going to head over to Holt, Michigan, where MSU is hosting at their course at Renegades Trail at Birchfield Park in Holt, Michigan. This course was the site of the DGPTQ series, one of the DGPTQ series qualifier events. That's for where kind of newer players to the Pro Tour can earn their two tour cards for the end of the year. There's a whole point system, and then you go to a kind of playoff of sorts to qualify for the DGPT and get your tour card. So it's kind of a cool thing. But as you're taking a look at this course is definitely a high level course, and I can see the reason why they're playing two team rounds instead of a singles event because it is long. It is technical. There's a lot of shots requiring you to put in landing spaces. You're going to need to be able to hit kind of bigger backhand turnovers and then maybe a big forehand. You're also having still contend with trees, even still. So there's some high ceiling, there's some low ceiling, maybe even some opportunity for rollers if you don't have that distance. And so there's a lot going on with Renegades Trail. It's a super fun course, a bomber's course, if you will. You need the distance to be able to get in position for birdies, and so this is why having those kind of guys in the 970 range is so important. Not 950 and up is so important for these guys because they're going to be able to really put your team in a position to score, which is why I have Calvin University taking it down. They have been so solid on team rounds recently, coming back at Maumee Bay at a course that was very long. It's not going to be as technical as this course, so we'll see how that plays into it because they did really catch fire there. I have them winning 19 down. It's been hard to bet against them in all reality. I still could see Michigan State taking this down. They'll probably have a little more experience on this course, but at the moment, it's really difficult to bet against Calvin, especially in team rounds. I think they got Grand Valley State at 15 down. They've been playing really solid. They've just been a few strokes behind Calvin and Michigan State. I like them. Ferris Tate, I have at 14. I do like Benji Zorn. I do like that squad. They still have to prove to me that they can, get into that extra gear to get into maybe double digit team rounds. I'm still a little wary on them, but I do like them. They come from a school with such a prestigious history. So, you can never really count them out. And then a new team that I have not been familiar with. This is Michigan Tech. I do like them, and I like the players that are on that team. I looked into them. I like what I see. Still got to figure out exactly, what their identity is, how they throw. But I do like them to beat Michigan and Great Lakes Christian to enter into that top five. I don't have a ton of confidence in Great Lakes Christian with two guys that are below 800, especially on a course like this. That's going to be rough. And Michigan has just been they're a newer team. They have newer guys on that team. I do like them, but they're still going to have to develop a little bit before I really trust them to kind of get into that top five, especially against such stiff competition in the Great Lakes region. But let me know what you guys think about these squads. Do I have it right, wrong? Let's move on to the next one, though. All right, and finally, we've got the East Carolina Classic with the Carolinas Conference opening up their second event of the year, and this is also the first three-round event of the year, so super exciting for that. Going to be a little bit more high scoring, so a lot more kind of variables to predict. So this is going to be interesting for me on my end, and got some pretty solid men's and women's divisions going on, and so that is super exciting as well. Um, Still going to be able to just predicting D1, even with some splits from D2 and D3. And this is for multiple divisions. I will be doing D1, D2, D3 predictions for regionals, but I won't be doing it for conference events since there's usually not enough to really warrant it. I'll kind of just predict the D1 teams. But when it comes down to D2 and D3, I'll definitely be predicting those here in the future. But getting back to the matter at hand, East Carolina Classic, as you're kind of already seeing, this is kind of your classic the coastal Carolinas kind of golf. You got some flatter areas, but there's still a lot of trees, long par threes, throwing in and out of woods, kind of using, even though it is probably a little flatter, using the area that they do have to kind of make a more difficult course, trying to put you in positions to really stretch you, flex you, try and, put you in position to really try and make a birdie, get you into around circle one, and then you have to putt in. And so it's going to be a super fun course to see all weekend, both at ECU's course, but also um, Meadowbrook Park. So it's going to be exciting all weekend. We're going to get to see UNC Charlotte, UNC, NC State. I mean, these guys have been at the top of both college disc golf, but the Carolinas. And so this is going to be a battle, really, I see between them. They're pretty close to ECU, and so they've been able to practice these courses. They know these courses. A lot of them were there last year. And so at this point, it's who's going to show up, who's going to perform, who's been preparing and playing well up until this point. And so that is why I've got NC State taking it down at -25. I do like Charlotte and North Carolina. Of course, Carolina still has Anthony Anselmo, but I just like North Carolina's team, their team chemistry. This is a team that has been very dominant in the past, and I think they have got the tools and the guys in place to really put together something special this year. So I've got NC State at 25. Then I got Charlotte at 22. I still like this team, but they still don't necessarily. They lost a lot of guys last year, and so I think I've got them at -22. Still solid, but not at the place that I feel like I had them last year. Then I'm at North Carolina at 21. They were good, but are they going to be as good as they were last year? We're going to see. Then I've got Eastern Carolina at -19. I think this team, with the home course advantage, with the guys they got, I think they can solidly come in fourth. That is no slouch in the Carolinas conference. This is like trying to pick between, some of the top 20 teams in college disc golf. It feels like half the time, and so you really can't go wrong. And then I've got Western Carolina, WCU at -18. They've got Matthew Splain leading them. I really like those guys over there to do well. And so that is kind of my prediction on the men's side of things. Definitely keep your eye on some of the players on all the teams. There are still some really, really solid guys who are playing this weekend, like Logan Edelman and Grant Woodson for NC State. Those guys are really, really dang good. Also, Liam McWhirter. And, of course, you can't forget Paul Seidel. From NC State. This is such a solid team. I really like them to go out there and do well. Of course, Anthony Anselmo, so solid. Jasper Till for UNC. Their fourth man, Wilson Preggert. I don't know much about him, so that's why, again, I do only have them in third, but those guys can carry that team. Of course, Owen Rice, top 20 player. Last year, does a really good job. Abel Boyd for UNC Charlotte also is really solid, but still don't know about the kind of last two players on their team. So I'm still looking to see how they all mesh together for this season. Excited to see what they do. And of course, Matthew Splain, as I mentioned earlier, 984 rated, and Zach Rice for WCU. I like them a lot, but they do have some guys on the lower end of the rating scale. And when you're in a division where teams have, full teams of 970 up players, that's going to hurt. And so you kind of need those guys to really do well in singles. And over 3 rounds, I think that separation is going to be a lot. So that is where I have things right now. These are really difficult courses, but also a lot of fun, and they're still scoreable and attackable. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a super fun weekend to kind of watch this all play out. So definitely keep your eye on it. Make sure you stay in the loop. I'll be posting about it. So yeah, the super exciting stuff coming out of the Carolinas Conference. And certainly not last and certainly not least, we have the ladies' predictions. I'm just doing singles because they're going to be playing together throughout the weekend. But I have Colin Rodriguez taking down the singles, and then I have Emily Bambury in second. I think Emily is new to college disc golf, and this is going to be her first tournament. She doesn't even have a rating yet, so unsure where she's at. She could be absolutely amazing and just have never played before. I have zero idea. This is, of course, all of the predictions are just guessing anyway. But that is kind of what I have. Super excited for them. I hope they have a great weekend. And yeah, it's just going to be super fun. This is a super fun weekend. So make sure you keep staying in the loop, like, subscribe, and keep up on the Instagram. I'm always posting. I'll put stories up of mid round scores. So make sure you stay in the loop. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the weekend. Who have you got playing well? Who have you got winning this weekend. What things do I have wrong? Do I need to make some changes? Of course, the Carolinas conference is like impossible to predict because all those guys are so dang good. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Nickens. I'll see you guys later.